That's not supposed to be there. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Culture Clash. And today we're not going to talk about Pogs. I'm LambMower. Joining me today is CantWearHats.
Hey, everybody. And I had Pogs when I was a kid. But
That's not talk about Pogs.
That's not up to date. That's not what we're here for.
No. And HPBraincase.
Hi, guys. I also had Pogs.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. Forget about Pogs.
Forget about Pogs.
Oh,
it's still
gone.
You can move the pre-show thing. It's not actually pre-show.
It's the actual show.
It's the actual show.
Yeah.
Anyways, today we are gonna talk about the new Star Wars trailer.
Star Wars.
I think we're all pretty excited about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt.
Yes.
I felt the Force.
Good. Good.
I'm gonna try to defend Origin.
Yeah.
Good,
I mean,
good luck.
if you look,
And Boeing has patented a force field.
I mean, there's your through line right there.
Yeah.
You got force fields. Got new Star Wars trailer.
May the force field be with Boeing.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And we have some other things to talk about. So I want to start off.
Well, we want to follow up, so we can follow up on some stuff we talked about last week.
Yeah, just some quick stuff. I started watching Daredevil.
Yeah. How are you
Yes.
liking it?
So good.
I'm 5 episodes in, and I am loving it. It's bordering on Game of Thrones level violence,
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
but it's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you haven't watched it yet, it's worth the Netflix subscription.
Yeah, like even if you just pay for like 1 month of Netflix, it's like, what is it, like $10 or like £6 or something like that.
$8 for streaming, I think.
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
so good.
That's nothing. Imagine like buying a DVD set for that much. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Other Daredevil news. Should
yeah.
should I take that one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Last week, I mentioned that some people had suggested and highlighted that Netflix did not provide audio description tracks for Daredevil, which is, ironic. Well, whatever it is, it's unfortunate because it's a show about a blind main character.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, you should do that. And people are like, well, that's a great idea. But then they have actually started to do that now. They've taken that advice and gone with it because Daredevil is now available to the visually impaired. And Netflix is going to start rolling this service out to their other original shows like House of Cards. And I think, is it Orange is the New Black? Yeah.
That's one of theirs as well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
if I like that, I don't think this is a thing that they just did because of Daredevil. I think
But the
they
timing
probably
is really good.
they had a really good timing. I think this was something they were already planning because it doesn't take a week to do that.
Well, they haven't. They've said that it's coming.
They've announced it, yeah.
They've announced it. So
Yeah.
I can certainly see it as like a reaction to that, and probably something along the lines of, oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's do that. But yeah, that's awesome.
I think they probably did actually have it.
Yeah, I'm
planned.
sure that was something they wanted to do, and now is the perfect time to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They had a really good timing in if the case was that they were actually working on it already.
Yeah.
And the last sort of follow-up from last week is we talked about the new Deus Ex trailer that came out, the teaser. And they've just released a little bit more news about the game. The big thing is that there is going to be the option to do the entire game, including bosses, stealth only. And there's going to be a super hard mode, which they're calling Give Me Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Which,
That's
for the fans of the series, I mean, hopefully it lives up to what it says it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully.
I hope so.
I am quite looking forward to see how it turns
Yeah.
out.
I like that they went with, you can stealth every boss, because that was a criticism people had of the original version of Human Revolution, which they then tried to fix in the director's cut. And like, well, let's build that in from the ground up with Mankind Divided, which is awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah. Color me willing to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing it because I'm a Deus Ex fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it comes to sci-fi in general, cyberpunk is generally one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
And
like one of my
and especially just the whole concept and philosophy regarding transhumanism.
yeah, one of my favorite sci-fi books is Necromancer,
Yeah,
and that just covers all of those things. And yeah, the original Deus Ex had that, and now Deus Ex Human Revolution had that, and more of that, I say.
yeah.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
So,
Yeah.
moving into what's been happening in the movie and TV space.
New things.
There was
Yes, news.
a teaser for Batman vs. Superman, and
Yes,
it
there was.
It was not
It
very
was-
exciting.
Well, it was the teasiest of teasers because all it showed was like, here's Batman's suit, here's Superman's suit.
Yeah.
Not with anybody
Just
in
a-
them. Just here's the suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmed Batman and Superman will be in Batman versus Superman.
Well, no, that only confirmed that their suits would be in it, not that they would be in it.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant Neuromancer. Sorry, I said Necromancer. I meant Neuromancer earlier. Sorry, my brain just farted.
But then there was a leak of the teaser.
Yeah, that's right.
Of the actual teaser. Like the actual
like
proper teaser.
And it was like a cam footage of like someone with a video camera in like a cinema or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
so they I think released a higher quality version online following that.
yes.
They're like, well,
Uh,
it's out now.
and-
Let's get the good version up.
That teaser actually makes me really interested in the movie, even though I skipped the first Superman. Like, I shouldn't say it makes me interested in the movie. It makes me interested in Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, that's what I've.
Yes.
That's the biggest reaction I've seen is people being like, "Oh my god, Ben Affleck as Batman looks so cool. It looks like Batman."
He looks and feels like Bruce Wayne, and the alternate bat suit you see near the end of the teaser
Oh yeah, the robot
looks sweet.
Yes.
type, which is like very much Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller comic book, where Batman and Superman have a fight, and that influence has been made very obvious, and they even like, I think it was at like a Comic-Con panel, they started it by reading out an excerpt from that comic book, because that's about Superman fighting Batman.
Now,
What do you?
there are some big reserves to have about the trailer.
Yeah.
It shows two things. One, it's very obviously a Zack Snyder movie,
Yup.
which
Yeah.
we already knew. But it's
It's a Zack Snyder Superman movie.
yes,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
it looks like Zack Snyder, and
Yeah.
two, they're still doing the whole
Grimdark.
grimdark. Everything is Batman except it's
Yeah.
not Batman. It's the Justice League. It's not Batman.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I watched the trailer, and out of the the only emotion I could muster for the whole thing was just, it just bored me because it's like it's grey, grim darkness again.
The
And
emotion
again.
I got out of it was with the Ben Affleck Batman of,
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I've always
I
been a
also
believer.
skipped the first Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like if you've seen Man of Steel, you're like, okay, they're just doing that, but even grim darker.
So for me, this is like I'm never gonna watch Man of Steel. So this is my first introduction to it. So I'm that might be why I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
Man of Steel is it has a lot of issues, and
Yeah.
you really don't miss a lot if you skip it.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Like, the other thing is, like, you've been watching Daredevil, and Daredevil manages to do, like, dark and serious while not being, like, overblown with the whole thing.
It does dark. It doesn't do grimdark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of tone that I would be happier with in, like, Batman versus... I'm Batman. Because something I picked... This is something that I got from reading Terry Pratchett, was that he always tried to teach that the opposite of funny is not serious. Like, the opposite of funny is not funny. Like, you can have fun with something and be serious at the same time,
Yeah.
which DC movies do not seem to understand.
No.
Yeah,
So,
it's not great, but it is what it is.
anyway.
In other comic book movie company news,
More.
aka Marvel.
Yeah.
There was actually we have a lot of Marvel news on the docket, but there was another new trailer
Yes.
for Ant-Man,
Yes. Which
is
is
looking like it's going to be this year's Guardians of the Galaxy.
it's the complete
Yeah.
opposite end of the spectrum from Batman versus Superman. It's like this at the end of the trailer. There's a fight on top of a Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Thomas the Tank Engine hits him,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's,
No,
it's
they're
played up
fighting.
all
They're fighting
serious,
on.
and then it falls over.
Yeah,
They're fighting
it's
on
so
the
funny.
on the train. They have a train fight scene,
They
and it's
do.
on the Thomas
Oh,
attack
right.
engine.
Yeah, and then there's a bit where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be hit by the train," and it cuts out to like the model train set, and the train just going. Boop.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
the Yellow Jacket design, I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ant-Man suit it's the Ant-Man suit, I guess. Like I can see
Exactly.
it. I'm not super excited about that, but I actually really like the way the Yellow Jacket suit looks.
Yeah, that one looks cool.
I'm very actually the first trailer for Ant-Man was very boring.
Yeah, they didn't really show much of the humor that they showed in this trailer.
But this trailer really intrigued me because this was more what you'd expect from Marvel.
Yeah, and particularly from Ant-Man, whose character, like you compare Ant-Man and Batman, right?
Yeah.
Both of them animal-themed superheroes. Ant-Man recognizes that is ridiculous, and it's like Ant-Man is silly. Like the guy who shrinks down and talks to ants is a very comic booky thing, and so is a guy who dresses up as a bat and punches people in the dark. But
Yeah.
only Ant-Man seems to recognize this.
So they on the note of Ant-Man, apparently Peggy Carter was confirmed in the casting for it. So it looks like there's going to be some flashbacks.
Yeah,
Not surprised with that actually.
no, because Agent Carter has been very well received.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
people
she's
like Peggy
she's also confirmed in the casting for the new Avengers.
Yeah, because
Also.
I assume that's going to be more flashbacks with Captain America.
Like the variety of characters they've announced as being in the cast, it's probably going to be related to some trippy scenes. Because there's gonna be some mind control related to a character who does just that.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah.
because they made because in Ant-Man, Hank Pym is actually who's traditionally been Ant-Man in the comics. He's actually an older guy played by Michael Douglas, so
Yes.
it's feasible that he is a contemporary of Peggy Carter and Howard Stark, and so we might see some flashback scenes with them.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
That's what I'm assuming is going to happen.
Also, some visual notes on it. Evangeline Lilly with short hair is very yes. She's just a very attractive woman,
Yep, and she punches Paul Rudd in the face.
which
It's hilarious.
only bonus points.
Just because the humor in that trailer is pretty good.
Yeah. So like with the way that Marvel explained Ant-Man back when they announced the movie is, but it's gonna basically be a heist movie but with superheroes.
Yeah, because in the trailer you see that Paul Rudd's character is a thief who breaks into places, steals
So-
things,
Yes.
and gets hired to do exactly that.
I'm super excited about that. I'm also a little disappointed because I was hoping Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was going to be an Ocean-style heist movie.
Yeah, they could still do
Yeah,
that.
they could still do that.
That doesn't stop them from doing that at all.
I would love to see that. Also, they show a really brief shot of of Hank Pym's basement or lab in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that kind of plays into the next piece of news we have. It
Okay.
looks exactly like the basement from Tron. Like, I think they shot it on the same set.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
And the reason that plays into the next piece of news is because Tron 3 was officially confirmed
Yes.
last week.
With Olivia
so,
Wilde returning.
Much to the surprise of no one. Olivia Wilde confirmed returning. The ultimately forgettable male lead, whose name I don't know.
What's his face?
I always
Flynn was his character
Flynn.
name.
I always
Yeah.
mix him up. Like when I try to think who was the actor in Tron, I always think of the guy that was the main character, like the main guy in Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah, I could see that. They're pretty interchangeable. Different
exactly.
actors, but
All these straight white guys look the same.
Olivia Wilde confirmed back.
Main characters.
The male lead confirmed back. The
Garrett Hedlund.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Garrett Hedlund, and then there's the guy who was the owner of, or like the CEO of another company or whatever in the first Tron, who was briefly set up as a bad guy. He's confirmed back as well.
Yes.
Jeff Bridges not mentioned.
Well, when you consider the end of Tron Legacy, that does kind of make sense.
Yeah, but if I would like to see even plasticky digital Jeff Bridges back.
Well, I mean, they don't need him for that. They can just do that with a computer.
Fair enough.
No, well, it's still mocapped. Like, it's still face capped.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I'm going to see it. I actually enjoyed Tron Legacy, and I'm excited to see more of that universe. Maybe not that character, but
I think a lot of people did actually like it, if only for its visual design, which was like definitely the best part of it.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Olivia Wilde coming back, definitely a good thing. Garrett Hedlund coming back makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. He was the main character.
He's kind of supposed to be the main character of that franchise.
He's just very forgettable.
Yeah, it does have that problem where he's just like your straight white protagonist, man.
You know what he is? He's Steve.
Yeah, he's
Steve, but he's blonde. He's a blonde Steve.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the reason people look at the headline for that article that we were referencing, the way that it's ordered, so it's Olivia Wilde to reunite with Garrett Hedlund. It's that way round. Because people are more excited for Olivia Wilde to come back because her character was much more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Bruce Boxleitner is back.
That's the guy. And
That's
is Daft Punk doing the soundtrack again?
Yes, they've been confirmed doing the soundtrack.
Awesome.
Oh, sweet.
Which is the best part.
Yeah.
More in Marvel news. We've
Lots of
gotten
Marvel
some
news.
first looks at also known as Jessica Jones, which is the next up in the Netflix Marvel series.
Mm-hmm.
Which now, after seeing Daredevil, I am very excited for.
Oh yes,
I am in. And
I
it's
am
also kind of
very in.
a secret first look as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am hoping to get Vincent D'Onofrio in every single though.
Vincent D'Onofrio, yeah. And it's kind of a secret first look at the other Netflix series because you get to see Luke Cage in aka Jessica Jones, which makes total sense because they're married.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the comics.
Are they married already in this one though?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't
we'll find out. I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to see David Tennant as the Purple Man.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Who is
I look forward to internet freaking out about that because I don't think people realize what a evil character Purple Man is.
Yeah, Purple Man.
I'm really looking forward to
He's
it.
a very evil guy. So in the comics, Purple Man's skin is actually purple, but so far the pictures of David Tennant we've seen, he's just wearing purple clothes, and so some people have speculated that maybe he'll either turn purple when he uses his powers, or he'll just wear purple clothes.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm fine with either one of those. Like, he doesn't need to have purple skin.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter that much.
But it's going to be interesting to see the internet reaction on that, especially because David Tennant is such a nerd darling.
He is, but like, you go back and look at him. Like, this isn't the first time he's played a horrible character in an evil character in even in geek and nerd culture. He was Barty Crouch Jr. in Harry Potter.
Exactly.
Yep. And he was also in a vampire movie.
Oh right, I didn't see that one, but yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah, so David Tennant is a really good actor, so I'm excited for him to play a bad guy.
For those not in the know, the actual Jessica Jones will be played by Kristen Ritter, probably most well known from Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
I'd say most known from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's probably
that.
Yeah, Breaking Bad, definitely. And
Fair
who's
enough.
playing Luke Cage?
Luke Cage is going to be played by I had his name in front of me. Mike Coulter, who was one of the main guys in the Halo Nightfall series that Microsoft put out. And looking at the pictures, I hadn't actually known who was cast there. I'm I'm pleased with it.
Yeah.
Looks fine. Looks good.
I don't know if I mentioned last week, but I'm very surprised they didn't actually end up casting like Terry Jones or someone, because Terry Jones was,
No, Terry Crews. Terry
Terry
Jones.
Crews
Terry
or
Jones
Isaiah
is-
Mustafa were both sort of like
yeah, they were both very
cast an
very-
Old Spice guy.
Terry
Yeah.
Jones is from Monty Python, Lamb.
Oh yeah,
I don't think he would be a good choice. For
I mean, if they
I
want
meant
to.
Terry Crews, but yeah, Terry Crews was very interested in the role, and he's like the biggest fan cast for that role.
Yeah, that would have probably been fine, but I actually like that they
Yeah.
clearly auditioned people and went with who they thought was best,
Yeah.
rather than just being like, who do the fans want? Let's cast that, because that doesn't always work out.
Makes me feel like they're not going to pander to us.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually, making their own creative decisions.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's happened. And related to that, we don't know yet, but the Oscar-winning
Oh yeah,
director, John Ridley, who directed 12 Years a Slave, is directing one of these Marvel TV shows. We just don't know which one yet. And the biggest contender people are thinking is The Defenders, which is the series that all of these smaller series are heading up to.
yeah, like a group team up sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited because
Yeah.
Marvel has got like big names to do various things throughout its.
Well, they're getting to a point where they're so big that anyone will want to work for them, because
Yeah,
it's just good to have you on a resume.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Work for Marvel.
he
You
clearly.
know, like,
Yeah, and John Ridley clearly needs that boost on his resume. What with only having 12 years a slave.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
needs the help of being in a Marvel thing. Yeah. So yeah, Iron Fist or Defenders would be
I
good.
I imagine it's also like the directive kind of challenge of
Yeah.
doing something like this would be very attractive to a director.
I suppose so. Yeah, because that's what Joss Whedon's been doing with the Avengers films.
Yes.
And that certainly has, from what we've heard of his experience working on them, it is certainly challenging to manage that many different characters who are all of kind of equal standing, rather than having a main character and side characters.
Exactly.
Trying to balance that.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
gonna be. I very look forward to seeing what he ends up directing. It might not even be one of the Marvel TV shows that we know about.
Yeah, it might
be
be.
something
not
new.
announced yet.
Ooh.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm
Not-
excited for whatever he does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he produced 12 Years a Slave. He didn't direct it, right?
Not
Anyway.
the only director news
Oh, right. Yes.
in the comic book verse this week, though.
This thing.
Oh.
We
They-
also have a director announced for Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Well, they had a director
Who
already.
left.
Who
A new
left.
director announced.
Yes.
Yes.
'Cause,
And now they have a new director who has Patty Jenkins, who directed Monster,
Yes, with
Who's,
Charlize Theron.
which is a very famous Theron movie.
Yeah, and I think from the sound of things, it's it's going to be hopefully they're going to do things.
Let's see
right.
if she makes it all the way to release, though. This is not the first comic book movie she has attempted to direct.
Right, yeah, Thor: The Dark World. She was
Yep.
going to direct, and then Creative Differences. But it sounds like that she's been brought in over Creative Differences with the previous director.
Yeah.
So maybe what they're doing lines up with what she wants to do better.
I'm interested.
If-
I'm interested with this what's happening because DC is basically going with like an all-female production crew on Wonder Woman.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, there's like a very common reaction to that, which is people saying, "Well, you should just hire the best person possible," which only works if everyone is on an even playing field, which we're not. So I'm excited for them to create more roles, for them to deliberately create more production roles for women,
Yeah.
because that's a side of things. That's certainly one area where there are. I would definitely say not enough, because it's
Yeah,
not.
definitely.
It's not an environment that has traditionally been open to women
We it's just missing a lot of
because of
production folks on
dudes.
the female
Yeah.
side overall.
Yeah, because it's that kind of
It's
male environment that really
Yeah,
tends
Yeah.
to kick them
Like,
out,
like
which is a
there's
real
so
shame.
few high-profile female directors right now. There's
Yeah.
like one I remember on the top of my head, and that's Angelina Jolie, who didn't even start out as a director.
Yeah,
She basically got the right to direct from being a very famous actor.
yeah, like you can. It's much easier to name like male directors or filmmakers who you've heard of, because like you can say like James Cameron, Joss Whedon, John Favreau, or like going further back like Stanley Kubrick. Like there are lots of names, and they're almost all men.
Yeah.
And like I can't. I'm trying to think of some well-known female directors, and that's partly my fault for not being able to remember them. But there are just not as many, which
Yeah.
is a real shame.
Exactly.
And like as far as celebrity directors go, it
Yeah.
seems that's a male-dominated thing, and it's kind of self-perpetuating there.
yeah, so
But if Marvel thought she was good enough to do Thor: The Dark World even before Creative Differences stuff,
yeah,
Wonder Woman's going to be a very similar feel. I mean, it's that same sort of ancient mythology
yeah.
thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
And
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
I'm sure that they're not just going to hire any female director. They're going to find a very good one, which they
Yeah.
have, because she directed Monster, which was a very critically acclaimed film, and had Charlize Theron's very intense performance in it, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the last news on the Marvel side is we've got to know that Marvel still can't make a standalone Hulk movie because Universal still owns the rights.
Well,
They are
own-
not allowed.
They own the distribution rights
Yes.
for Hulk movies.
So, I mean, theoretically, Marvel could make one.
Yeah.
None of us would just ever see it.
Well, they could make one if they agreed on a deal with Universal
Yeah.
for distribution. So,
Which is not gonna happen.
Which is
If
Maybe.
you'd said that a year ago, I would have believed you.
yeah,
And then Marvel and Sony reached an agreement over Spider-Man.
yeah. That's the thing.
Marvel
is that-
seems willing
Yeah.
to make deals with these characters now.
yeah, because
Yeah,
you can
true.
say like there's a precedent been set, with Sony. So maybe they could work something out. Because
Maybe.
And I would love to see a Mark Ruffalo Hulk movie.
Yes. And this was from the mouth of Mark Ruffalo himself. That said this.
Yeah. So they don't have the rights to distribute. So yeah, I would be excited to see that. Because did you guys see like the Ang Lee Hulk movie and the Edward Norton Hulk movie?
I saw the Edward
Yes.
Norton one, and I actually really enjoyed it, even though
Yeah.
it wasn't super critically well received.
I did
Um,
not like. It was all right.
It was fine.
It's definitely the worst of the Marvel.
Well, that was
Cinematic
before they were just getting the connected universe going, because
Yeah.
at the end of that film, there is a post-credit scene with Robert Downey Jr.
And
and General Ross, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And then
Um,
Edward Norton wasn't in Avengers.
Yeah, well, money. What can you do?
Yeah, it was. I think it was something like, it's either money or he wanted more creative control, something like that. But Mark Ruffalo is
Yeah,
doing a fantastic
what I heard
job,
was they
so-
couldn't reach a salary agreement.
We don't talk about Ang Lee.
I thought it did some interesting things, and it also did some really, really stupid things.
There
I haven't
is
seen it.
there is a lot of really bad things in that.
Yeah.
Like
Mutated-
the special effect is legendarily bad.
Mutated poodles.
Yep.
Interesting thing about the Ed Norton Hulk movie, like a weird continuity tie-in that just happened.
Oh yeah.
There's the scene at the end of the movie where it zooms in on a cabin where Ed Norton is. Like it
Yes.
speed zooms in on it.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah. I remember.
there's a thing there, a reveal. That cabin just showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Ooh, okay, so
Yes,
they're
it did.
basically
Yep.
saying that movie happened. Just pretend Edward Norton looked like Mark
Yeah.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
And that cabin, by the way, was built by Nick Fury.
Right.
Specifically for
Okay.
Edward Norton to go to as the Hulk. Yeah.
Yep.
Right, to calm down and control it, and
And by the way, if you're not watching Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet, you should probably catch up on it soon because it's probably going to be very relevant to the rest of the Marvel Universe. So
Yeah.
I'm going to catch up on that.
yeah.
Yes, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's
I
very
am,
good.
They,
I have many things to watch.
They just had a character in the show last episode, which is very likely a reference to the mother of the two characters that we're going to see in Age of Ultron.
Neat.
So
Yeah.
it's time to catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like
It's
most,
the only
as most
Marvel
people have,
thing
as most
left.
people have said, the first season isn't great. The first half of the first season is slow, and not much happens. The second half, when they finally get past the twist of Winter Soldier, the series gets a lot better. And then in season 2, it picks up a lot. And then season 3 has been pretty good. It's not like Daredevil good, but it's still good.
Well, it's because it's on. I guess is it network television? Anyway, it's on broadcast television. It's not.
It's on ABC here in
Right.
the US because Disney owns ABC.
Yeah, sure. So it's on a television network, which gives certain, I guess, pressures or restrictions on what they can and can't do. Whereas and the sort of format they have to work with, whereas Netflix doesn't. So they have a lot more freedom to do what they want, which is probably where the difference in tone comes from.
Yeah.
At least partially.
And like the biggest reason why you should catch up on Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. now is because they've introduced Inhumans. And they're gonna be very relevant.
Yeah.
Especially in the near future. I think the biggest thing where they're gonna be relevant is probably Civil War. Because Marvel doesn't have enough superheroes introduced yet to just do a Civil War, so they'll probably just bring in a ton of Inhumans or something.
Yeah,
like that
they could do that.
to fill out the cast, because they definitely have to do some filling out and just introduce something. And I think that's gonna be what's happened in Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're just gonna start introducing a ton of characters.
I hope we see Charlie. It is Charlie Cox, isn't it?
Yes.
Or hope we see Daredevil in the wider Marvel universe. Like maybe he pops up in a short cameo in like Civil War or something like that. I hope we do see that.
That would be cool.
I think if they don't do that in Civil War with at least a few characters from like the shows, they've kind of failed the point of doing Civil War.
Yeah, and also making the shows connected to the movies.
I'm also interested to see how they interconnect, aka Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil.
That's
Luke
gonna be
Cage and Daredevil take place in Hell's Kitchen together.
Yeah, because those like the Netflix stuff is all designed to be interconnected within itself. So there's going to be references, and who knows, maybe Daredevil will pop up in the other shows as well.
Yeah, and because, I mean, aka Jessica Jones and Daredevil are both attorneys too.
Yeah, that's true. And also they've even set up Howard the Duck in Guardians of the Galaxy, so they're getting everything ready.
I really don't think they will do Howard the Duck.
No, they're just like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
I hope it was just an Easter egg. So do we want to run through our other honorable mentions really quick before we get to the big news?
Before we get to the big stuff, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, there's a few things after that.
Game of Thrones started.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yes. I
haven't seen it yet.
I've seen... There was a leak that happened. I've seen all the episodes. I regretted it afterwards because I realized I have to wait another month for new episodes now.
Yep.
Welcome to a forced mid-season break, Lamb.
Yeah, exactly.
Happen all the time.
I need to actually rewatch the first episode because I need to remember what actually happened in that. But so far, without spoiling anything, they're doing everything very different from the books. There's some big things happening.
Interesting.
If I remember correctly, George R. Martin has said this is basically what he wanted because he wants to fix the problems he had with the fourth book.
Oh, that's interesting. So he's... Okay, so it's like the director's cut of the book as the show.
Yes. Basically.
Blade Runner Final Cut
Yeah.
of the books
The adaptation.
as the show.
Right.
He's
That's interesting.
doing basically fixes that he wants to do now.
Nice.
It's very interesting because they're basically a lot of characters are in completely different situations than they are in the books.
Yeah.
And there's things that happens now that just aren't even there's
characters that don't exist.
The characters that
Anymore.
don't exist. There's characters that haven't been relevant since like book 2 that are now like half important characters, and it's very interesting to see. I really look forward to the season because it's going to be the first season where all the book snobs can't go, ha ha ha, I know what
I
happens.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're all in it together.
Yeah, exactly. Now nobody has any clue what's going to happen.
I do like that because it does avoid the problem of dickbags spoiling things for you.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I wonder if it's because you've read the books, right, Lamb? You've read.
I read all the books. I even to show my level of Game of Thrones nerdy, I have to move my guitar so it doesn't.
Yep. There's one guy, huge jerk, has dedicated his life to writing a series of books to spoil what's going to happen in the show.
That George R.R. Martin, man, what a dick.
That's why the showrunners are changing it around.
I have
because of
this.
this guy.
Oh,
Somehow
wow.
he got copies in the story
This is
before.
the World of Ice and Fire, which is like the lore book. It's
wow.
Nice.
It's kind of like the Silmarillion for Game of Thrones.
Excellent.
So I mean, you're excited to see what happens.
I am very excited to see what happens, especially because the 4th book wasn't good.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that reaction rather than people being like, "Oh my god, it's not like the books. It's so different."
I've never been into that sort of attitude. It's like there was once a director, I forget what director it was. Or not a director, he was an author, and there was a movie adaptation of his book, and he got that was very badly received. And he got asked in an interview, how do you feel about them ruining your book? And he just said, they didn't ruin my book. It's right there on the shelf.
Yep.
Like, the book is still there.
Was that Alan Moore?
It might be Alan Moore.
Because he's said similar things about adaptations of his work.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like almost any of them.
No, it wasn't Alan Moore. It was an older...
Okay.
This was like in the 60s.
Okay, well, Alan Moore also said the same thing.
But it's basically like... Just because an adaptation isn't exact same thing doesn't mean it's automatically shit.
Yeah, I like adaptations that are exactly the same, but I do also like when they change. As long as you get the
essence.
The essence, yeah.
The more important thing to get right is like the characters and stuff like that, and just the essence of the whole thing.
Yeah, they're different mediums. Some things don't work in other mediums. Like,
well, funnily enough, like, yeah, I actually think Game of Thrones works better as a TV series. Maybe I'm committing heresy.
Personally,
The storylines
I
are
actually
so
would agree.
visceral.
Yeah,
I would agree that it works better as a TV show. And
because
partly that is because George R. R. Martin started as a TV writer.
Yeah,
That would do it.
that makes sense. And the problem, I couldn't get through the books that well. I had trouble reading them because I didn't like George R. R. Martin's heavily descriptive style, where he would describe just literally like the set dressing of what people are wearing, and you can just show that on TV. It just cuts out a lot of the fat of that. So
like he's describing entire scenes and just everything about that scene, but when you're in television,
there it is.
There.
Yeah,
right there.
Look at it.
You don't have to describe it. It's just there,
as they say.
Yeah.
So.
So
yeah, I'm intrigued.
I am very excited to see what happens.
Differences.
Really, because there are some. They're doing some things that, not even close to what happened in the book. So. I'm excited.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on from things that
speaking about things that
serious.
we're excited about. Hats. What have you been watching?
Yeah, if you've been following me on Twitter, you'll have seen me tweeting a lot about this. because I have finally. So I got Netflix to watch Daredevil. I committed to something like a month of Netflix to watch Daredevil and some other stuff. And something that's on there that I've been meaning to watch for a very long time because everyone has been saying how good it is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
So I am currently about halfway through book 3, having started it at some point last week.
Yeah.
Because it's actually like if you watch, like, say you sit down and watch a movie like 2 or 3 hours, that's actually a good chunk of episodes of Avatar because they're like 20 minutes long.
Yes.
Yeah, like 22, 24 minutes long.
So yeah, if you do that like in the evening, like a couple of days in, then you've got through most of it. And I'm nearly done, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm loving it.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, it does a fantastic job of like character interaction, world building. The thing I really like the creative uses they have for the different bending styles.
Yes,
because it would be very easy to just make it into like a magical attack power that you can, blast water at people, shoot fire, and like throw rocks. But they actually employ a lot of
also air.
Yeah, and also air. Yeah, and blow air at people, and also employ a lot of ingenuity because you have like earthbender trains where they make the trains out of stone, and have earthbenders at the back of them, earthbending them along tracks. And just little things like that. It's like, this is a really well realized world.
Yeah, exactly.
And the characters are really good, and they do a really good job of making them all actually seem like kids.
That's the thing that makes Avatar work so well. They don't treat their audience like they're stupid children.
No, like children can take in a lot more than some people would give them credit for.
Yeah,
like,
and they actually present some very like advanced philosophical stuff in Avatar.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is perfect sort of like this is the perfect sort of thing for like any ages because it's a really good quality show and it's something you can sit down with, say if you're a parent with your kids and watch it with them, and it'll be fantastic. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it ends. I'm almost there, like halfway through book 3, and then onto Legend of Korra.
You get, without any spoilers, the thing I love, Korra is a bit of a slow starter, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But the thing I loved about it is it actually showed progress in the world.
Yeah, because I've seen a bit of like stuff of Korra, and it looks like an industrial revolution happened, or like there's actually been like however many years it is since then of progress. Because it always bugs me when they do this with magical systems. In like Game of Thrones is really bad about this because like medieval stasis in Game of Thrones has been going on for like how old is the wall? It's like 20,000 years old. It's something stupid like that.
I think it's 7,000 years old.
Yeah, it's like incredibly.
Wait, I can look it up.
Wait, look it up.
Where did I put my book?
Yeah. It's. But what they do is they basically create a culture that is like medieval or similar, and say it has existed for 1,000 years, and it stays that way for without any progress. Especially with like magical systems where there are so many applications that they could use it for, and nobody does anything with it. It's just there and it exists. Whereas Avatar, and then goes on to Korra, it's like, well, we've already set this up. There are these things that are happening. How would that world evolve over 100 years? What would actually change?
And it talks like it deals with how the world evolves, just taking into account the new uses for bending they discover over the course of the series too.
Yeah, because in Avatar you start off with the 4, and then you get exposed to some variants because you get the swamp benders who bend water in vines, and you get sand benders, and then Toph invents metal bending.
Yes,
which is
big.
awesome.
That's a big thing in Korra.
Yeah, and then I think the last episode I watched of Avatar before coming to do these streams today was the one where you find out about bloodbending.
That episode is horrifying.
It's really creepy.
Yes.
Super
it's
creepy.
It's just how they move when they're being bloodbent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to finish it and then go watch Korra.
Yeah,
Yes.
And
do
if,
it. It's
and
great.
I'm sure most people have, but if you haven't watched it, you should go and do that.
The-
now.
Go watch it.
Yeah,
It's
the what people say about Avatar is all true. It's
Yep.
it's
The hype
it's
is real.
probably the best
Exactly.
animated series to come out in this millennia. I would say it's one of the best.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then one last little piece of funny news. If I don't know if anybody remembers Kung Fury, which was the kickstarted movie that is clearly an homage to everything 80s.
Yeah. It's like Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, the movie,
yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
They're
there's been an
very
update on
inspired
Kung
by the
Fury.
same source material.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been an update on Kung Fury. It's still happening.
Oh, good.
The update that happened, however, was they made a music video of their key piece of music for the film, starring David Hasselhoff.
Because of course. I mean, who else is
And-
it going to star?
We can
And,
actually pull this up.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Put that up
I think
on
we
Still
should,
Cambot.
I think we should roll out to the break on this fantastic music video.
That's a perfect idea. I like it.
This is
Oh,
this
God.
is the wrong trailer.
Wait, what did you...
I copied the entire wrong thing.
Oh. Whoopsie. Never mind. Yeah, it's a thing that is happening.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's not capturing that again. Why is
Oh,
this?
no.
Why is this one so finicky?
Oh well. Well, we're gonna we'll throw to a break, and maybe it'll work.
It is just during the break. Go watch that because it's David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
David
absolutely. I
Hasselhoff.
mean, you can just Google Hasselhoff Kung Fury, and it'll be the first thing.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's hilarious. Oh,
Yeah.
before we go to the break,
Oh, we should talk
we
about.
almost forgot.
We should talk about a thing that is happening.
Oh God,
We're
the biggest movie
professionals.
news this week.
Oh,
Lamb, you seemed to be the most excited about it when you found out. Do you
so
want to?
should we do this now? Do we want to do this now,
Do we want to do this
or
now?
do we want to hook people for the to come back
Or-
after the
yeah.
break?
After we get the video capture working.
Yeah.
We'll come back after break.
Oh, Mike's hot apparently.
No, it's not hot. It's hot because we're back.
Oh.
So we're back at the first break. So
Yeah, before we roll out of movie news and into everything else, there is the most important piece of movie news to come out this past week that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
and the hype is real.
May
Yeah.
the hype be with you.
May the hype be with. Yeah. Oh God.
Let's see if this works. If we can get this.
I
on,
hope so.
If we could get
That
this
was-
on here.
That was my best Jedi impression.
Indeed.
Wasn't very good.
So
Yeah.
you guys might have heard about a little thing called Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Straw Mars.
Star Wars.
Justin Bieber.
I saw Straw Mars at Disney World.
Disney World. We've had an awful lot of Disney news this podcast.
That's only because they own everything.
Yeah, Disney owns everything, so nobody's surprised.
Yep.
Oh,
But
it's-
yeah, oh God.
we have it
Star
up.
Wars.
it's up
Is
there.
it running? It's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Working.
It's working.
So let's play this, and
Is it playing with sound? I actually can't.
it's gonna be sound, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we just gonna watch it? Or
Yeah, we're
should we
just gonna
talk
watch.
about
I'm gonna watch
because
It's so good. If you haven't seen it,
If you haven't seen it, it's just like, oh yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
my Jess.
Much, yes.
so much yes. Mm. Oh man. This will all be cut from the recorded version.
No, I won't.
Oh God, crashed. Oh, that opening shot.
Yeah,
My father has it.
Oh,
amazing.
It hooks you in, and then it's like, oh, also that.
Yeah,
yes.
I like the meme that's gone around. It's like, do you want Jawas? Because that's how you get Jawas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have that power
God.
too.
R2.
We're watching this on the 30-second delay.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. But yeah. Oh god, all the little details, the practical effects, and the,
It's everything I ever wanted.
oh dear. Just it all looks so good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm flying into the Star Destroyer, and there's the Millennium Falcon, and there's TIE Fighters, and
Chewie.
there's Han and Chewie.
BB-8.
The line at the end, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just,
It gets me in my heart.
It looks like Star Wars.
it looked like I honestly, when this trailer came out, first time I watched it, I actually had the feels. Like, I was close to actually to actual tears.
I was so hype. I was
Yeah,
just like vibrating with hype.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I
Because-
don't think I've ever been this hyped for anything
No.
ever.
Oh.
Return of the King got me close to this hyped, but that's because the Lord of the Rings trilogy as a set is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
But oh god, because were you watching the stream from the convention?
No, I missed the stream
Okay.
from Star Wars Celebration.
Because I mean that's gone up online now. But yeah, they had the actors on to talk about it. They had the 3 new actors, who were playing the 3 main characters, and they brought out Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, and Peter Mayhew, and my favorite part was they brought out BB-8, who's the little droid on the ball with the little head, who is actually a physical prop. It's a
practical effect.
It's a real robot.
I refuse to believe there's not a tiny person in a hamster ball.
Like that. That just says so much. That is an actual thing that works and is controllable. It's like an actual. It's not a computer effect.
It's real. Yeah. Oh my god. So I do have a couple of commentaries on the trailer.
Go on.
Things that it made me think.
Oh.
One, my initial theory was that they were teasing us with the black guy as a stormtrooper to, like, with the, making that happen, but it's really a non-stormtrooper in disguise. Because that would be a good homage back to the original trilogy.
But
this trailer makes it seem like he's actually a stormtrooper having a crisis of identity about what the Empire is doing. And that is such a more interesting storyline.
There's been speculation that because The Force Awakens is the tagline, is the subtitle of the movie, and people have speculated that maybe The Force Awakens in him, and he starts to have doubts about what he's doing, and meets up with is it Daisy Ridley? I think her name is the female character. Meets up with her and then goes on an adventure. That's kind of some of the things it seems to be setting up in the trailer. So I'm excited for that, if that is what they're doing.
Super excited.
Yep.
Yes.
John Boyega is the actor who plays the Stormtrooper,
The other thing that it makes me, or like the brain worm that I get from it, though, is yes, the Chewie "We're Home" line is fantastic for the trailer and for the feeling of coming home to Star Wars. It also implies to me that Han and Chewie have been away from the Millennium Falcon for a long time.
Maybe.
Because they would never consider Tatooine home.
Yeah, I don't know where they would consider home other than
That ship is
the
the
Falcon.
only thing I can think of Han considering home.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe it was. Maybe it's been sitting in a garage somewhere, just collecting dust, and they go and use it.
It is insane how hyped I am for this movie, and
it looks like Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's probably when it comes out this December. It's gonna be an entire podcast.
Like,
Yeah,
the thing I'm thinking, just other side bits. They have, as you see, they've introduced a new kind of like a main villain who
yes.
has been gotten the name Kylo Ren in the promo material.
Is that the guy with? Is that the lightsaber?
Yes.
The almost Revan looking.
Yeah, he's the Revan look is what gets me because I'm thinking that they might introduce the Revanites into the
They might.
actual canon.
They might do that. I mean, I would be completely unsurprised if he had absolutely nothing to do with Revan.
No, but it'd be interesting because obviously from the design of his lightsaber, it's very thrown together. It's obviously home built.
Mm-hmm.
He probably don't actually have a teacher or master in the Force.
Just went to like WikiHow to build a lightsaber.
Yeah,
Like,
I could
Or
totally
more accurately,
see.
probably got a holocron.
I could
Yeah.
totally see someone finding the teachings of Revan, and that's basically his how-to guide on how to be Force user.
they could do that. Yeah, I can see that.
And just that trailer speaks to me. It speaks to the kid in me who fell in love with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
In my case, when
Yeah.
my dad showed it to me.
That's why I had such an emotional response to the trailer because that was everything I ever wanted from a new Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, and everything we didn't get from the prequels.
Exactly.
One other interesting thing to note is in that trailer, at the end where the Millennium Falcon is flying through the engine of the crashed Star Destroyer.
Yes.
If you zoom out and look at how many engines it actually has, it's not actually a crashed Star Destroyer. It's a crashed Super Star Destroyer,
Yes.
which is friggin' huge.
Yeah.
And also, the desert planet that they were talking about is not Tatooine, funnily enough.
It's some new desert planet.
It's called Jakku, I think they said.
Okay.
Yes.
In the panel, which is
Fair
interesting to me because it's like another desert planet.
That's not
That's
Tatooine
not
or
Tatooine.
Dantooine.
I don't even know if Dantooine is a desert planet.
I don't believe
No,
it.
it's a forest planet.
It's a forest, yeah.
No, it's a fields planet. Like it's a green, very temperate
Planet with life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting to me that they would do another desert planet rather than Tatooine, because maybe Tatooine, I don't know, has too many connections.
Maybe it's more developed now.
Yeah, maybe there's something else
Because
going on.
it is Luke's home planet.
Maybe something else is going on with Tatooine. I don't know.
We'll
And the
Have to see.
EU nerd in me does want to hope that, or not hope, but theorize that silver stormtrooper, that chrome stormtrooper, that's Cortosis armor.
Oh, what lightsaber resistant armor?
Yeah, so that we might
Ah.
see a stormtrooper
Yeah.
go toe to toe with a Jedi.
Well, that would make sense. Maybe. I mean, it's clearly like a unique stormtrooper.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
this is complete spitballing, but maybe that stormtrooper is hunting down remaining Jedi and Force sensitive people, which would make sense if it had like lightsaber resistant armor.
or maybe his whole deal is he's like a personal guard to whoever's in charge of what's left
Yeah.
of the Empire,
Although-
and who would go after that guy except Jedi?
Although, who is that stormtrooper? Is it a he or not? Because we know that ties back to Game of Thrones actually that Gwendolyn Christie, who plays Brienne on Game of Thrones, is going to be in new Star Wars film.
That would be a sweet deal as well.
Playing an Empire character. I think she's playing like an officer or something. And some people have suggested maybe that's her in the armor. That would be really cool.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we could spend the rest of the podcast speculating about this thing.
we could probably make it its whole entire episode just speculating about the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
I'm so ready for this. It's
Yes.
December.
When the news, I've always when like the news happened, that J.J. Abrams was gonna direct. A lot of people were like, but he's shit because he ruined Star Trek.
Well, okay, two things. One, I would not say he ruined Star Trek. I would say he had a different vision for it.
Yeah.
Two, I would say that vision for it was
Well,
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Which
Yeah,
he's
that's the
perfect
thing.
for this.
He even said in interviews he's not a Star Trek fan.
No,
but
he's a Star Wars fan.
But he's a massive Star Wars fan.
yeah.
He
And you can see it.
He wanted to make Star Wars. He can probably make Star Wars, and he's like, he's assembled like the dream team of Star Wars movies because he basically has everyone who worked on like Empire Strikes Back working on this movie.
Everybody except
And-
George Lucas.
You can see the love and attention to everything Star Wars in that trailer.
It's not, because a lot of people you might think, oh, it's like little details. It got this name wrong, this name wrong. What's more important is getting the feel of the thing right, which is what the prequels didn't do because they tried to show because Star Wars itself, the original trilogy was like a used future. Everything was sort of bit, worn out, battered, and everything looked lived in, which was a great aesthetic. And then in the prequels, they tried to show everything as brand shiny new, which is why you had like chrome spaceships, which just didn't really work as well. It had less character to it, and there were a whole bunch of other problems. But now it's that lived-in feel, that sort of. It feels like a universe in which people live and do things.
Yeah. So
I'm excited.
I'm giddy.
Yeah.
But let's not turn this into another Star Citizen.
No, to continue on the Star Wars news, there was another Star Wars thing announced or revealed.
Oh right,
They showed Star Wars Battlefront. They showed the first trailer for it, and
Yes.
looks exciting. They also they also announced some details about it.
Yeah, they showed, I think it was 7 or 8 screenshots
Yes.
Yeah.
that do some really cool reveals of where we're going to be in that game.
Yes.
There's
That's
4
exciting.
confirmed planets, apparently, 3 that we know, and a new one, or maybe not a super new one, but one that hasn't really been featured as far as I know. We're gonna see Hoth, Endor, Tatooine, and the one that I think hasn't been featured as much, Celeste.
Right, because I remember Celeste from the Rogue Squadron games. That stuff happened on there, and like various other video game and extended universe stuff. But it's not been mentioned in the films a lot. So it should be good.
However, also they're doing like a DLC pack, which will be Jakku, which is the new plan, the new movie, and it's been hinted that that's where we'll see that Superstar Destroyer crash in that map.
That you might get to fight in the battle that causes the crash. Is that what they're saying?
Yes.
That should be.
They have also announced that first DLC planet is going to be free.
Oh,
it's going to be a free release when the movie comes out.
There is there's some other things that I'm slightly worried about. They mentioned there's absolutely no single player campaign.
Multiplayer only.
Multiplayer only.
So check it out on
Space battles are gone.
Huh.
Which I'm not happy over because that's basically my favorite part of Battlefront.
Weird.
I wonder if that's because they're going to do another game that's all space battles.
Maybe.
Possibly. But like the thing that was happening with the Battlefront 3 that Pandemic was developing was they were gonna do seamless transition between land and space. Because they want to combine the both elements of land battles and the space battles.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, more space battles.
I want more space battles, but they're probably going into what I'm going to be talking about. We can probably just go into that now. It's like
yeah, we can.
What's
if it is what I think we're talking about?
You're messing up the schedule. Everything's
Well,
wrong. No, it's fine.
Before we roll into that, just on the note of their first DLC being free,
Oh yeah.
there's also, on the flip side, some very bad DLC stuff going on
Oh yeah.
lately. That I think we can all just agree is super toilets.
What happened? What's
The Mortal
going on?
Kombat DLC
Oh yes.
of you can give us money so that you can perform fatalities easier. So the fatalities are still in the game. They're just easier if you pay $5 for 40 of them.
So stupid.
It is literally pay to win.
That's
No, it's not pay to win because the fatalities is something happens after you win. But it's
Okay,
still
fine, it's
still
pay to win
really
more.
stupid.
why. That's like I don't play the Mortal Kombat games, so I don't really care personally. But that's really, really stupid.
I'm not going to play the games anyway, but it's just like that sets a really poor precedent, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not even like that's not the only problem that Mortal Kombat 10 has had.
No.
It launched completely broken on PC, and it still has a lot of issues. A lot of people couldn't even launch the game until like the first patch, and it still has massive frame rate problems. And it's
dumb.
super dumb. But going back to the space battles in Battlefront, and the fact that the reason why there might not be space battle is because they might be doing an entire space game, is my favorite topic: the return of the space sim.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
People know I'm a massive space sim nerd.
If you listen to last week's 3-hour discussion about Star Citizen
Yeah,
and Elite Dangerous, you will know this to be true.
Let me get the stopwatch out.
exactly. No, but in the new Humble bundle, the Humble Origin bundle that we're giving away during today's podcast, they have a few unannounced games. Those have been spoiled already by Korean EA.
Yeah.
And they're Wing Commander 3 and 4 and SimCity 2000. The reason why I think those two first ones are the most interesting is I believe EA is trying to remind people that Wing Commander is a thing that exists.
Okay. Or do you think they might also be testing the market for a new Wing Commander game?
Exactly.
Like see if they're excited about that?
Yes, basically. Like we have the whole we have Elite Dangerous, we have Star Citizen, and just the success of Star Citizen as just a crowdfunding game. Like that game is not even out, and it's already.
It's just stop taking money.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much money they're getting because so many people want space sims, and now Elite Dangerous came out on Steam and it's doing real well. It's been a top-selling game on Steam for like 2 weeks now.
Yep, it's been doing very well.
It's been doing really well, and we have Dreadnought coming out, which is another space sim game. There is what else is coming out? We have Fractured Space, which is currently on Steam in early access.
Descent Underground met its Kickstarter.
Descent Underground just got its Kickstarter.
Yes.
All of these, like the space sim genre, is gaining steam again. Like it's coming back and in like a big way. It would be stupid of EA to not capitalize on this when they have Wing Commander and they have Star Wars.
and we all know EA has never done anything stupid before.
The thing is, EA has already tried rebooting Wing Commander before. Because one of the Star Citizen developers or team members is a guy called Ben Lesnick, who is basically the biggest Wing Commander nerd ever. He ran the biggest Wing Commander fan site, and he basically became the resource on everything Wing Commander. So whenever EA tried to do something Wing Commander, they brought him in. And he said that EA has tried to do Facebook games, they've tried to do mobile games based upon Wing Commander already. EA is fully aware that Wing Commander's a thing.
Yeah.
And Space Sims are coming back, which is the reason why I think this E3, we're either seeing a new Wing Commander or a new Star Wars space game. Or
Either one of those would be a good thing.
or we're seeing both. We're gonna see either of those from EA.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
I would love that to happen.
Yeah. I'd love a Star Wars one, and I'd love a Wing Commander. Well, my Wing Commander is Star Citizen. And I feel that's what a lot of other Wing Commander fans feel, that because the people that made Wing Commander are the people that are making Star Citizen.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, on the topic of the Humble bundle, the Humble Origin bundle, I just want to say Origin isn't that bad, guys. It had a shaky start.
Hey, Lamb.
Yeah.
When this comes back to bite you, I'd really like to know how foot tastes.
Yeah. No,
Foot
it's
in
like,
mouth.
I still don't like the fact that Origin is like they don't sell their games on Steam. I'd be way happy if they just did the Uplay thing, which is also stupid.
No, I wouldn't be. I disagree, because I think that's doubly dumb. That's
Yes.
like, I go and load up Steam. If I want to play Far Cry 3, I load up Steam, I press the thing, it loads up Uplay, and then it loads the game.
Yeah, it's super stupid.
You're going through two layers of things to do that. So if they are putting it on a separate platform, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Then you can load that up.
But I've gotten to use Origin a bit now during the past months, because Sims 4 came out. And
Yeah.
I played a bit of that, and then Dragon Age Inquisition came out, and I have over 100 hours into that. And then I got a copy of Titanfall. It's a completely fine service. It's not Steam. It's never gonna.
Full
be
disclosure,
it's not gonna be Steam.
I've never actually used Origin. I was just
Yeah.
making a joke about you putting your foot in your mouth. I'm sure that it's completely passable. I think I have an Origin account from Mass Effect 3.
Like
but-
it's the same. It's the same thing as what happened when Steam just came out. Everyone hated Steam.
Yeah.
Just when Origin came out, everyone hated Origin because it was not Steam. It's now a completely passable service, and it's just fine. It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
Yeah, it's how is it? One thing that Steam gets criticized for is its customer support.
Yes, and Origin has great customer support.
So yeah, there you go. There's something they do better than Steam. So,
And you can return your games and you can get refunds.
yeah,
and-
I mean the service sounds sounds fine.
I still dislike EA and their business practices and all, but the service, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, well there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
And I think I'd pick up the Humble Bundle because it's a really good bundle.
Yeah,
And-
which giving it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
During today's live broadcast.
yeah, if you're watching this live on Twitch, all you have to do to be entered to win a copy is just type "humble" in all caps into the chat, and you get an entry, and that will keep going through the post show, and we'll draw the winner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for those of you catching this on the recording later, we'll go ahead and put the winner in the show notes, I think, so that we congratulate them if that's something we can do on SoundCloud.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah. Origin, not that bad. Like, don't be afraid of Origin anymore. It's not it's not super awful service that breaks every time anymore. Like, that was a problem with launch, that it kept breaking games all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Origin's new tagline. Origin, no guys, really, we're not that bad.
It's
and,
not.
And they used to have some weird stuff in their terms of service and just in software that was really weird, but that's all gone now. And
Yeah.
And the other game that was spoiled, by the way, that I don't think you mentioned, Ultima 7.
oh yeah, Ultima 7
Is
is
in the bundle as
amazing as well. Another game that EA tried to reboot and completely ruined.
So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yes.
So I think you were about to just suggest hats. Do we just want to do a quick run through of the other
Yeah, video
game news?
Yeah, so we've done Origin Bundle, Battlefront. Oh yeah, and apparently Star Wars Battlefront is going to launch first on the Xbox One.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah,
EA
kinda.
has a deal with Microsoft called EA Access, where
Right.
you can play some of their games early. The actual official release date is the same cross-console.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so it's like a early access in heavy quotation marks.
It's like when you pre-ordered Evolve on certain systems, you got to get into the beta early.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
Kinda like
makes
that.
sense.
There's two Steam news. I forgot about the other one because it's not actually in the list. The first thing is Steam is adding two-factor authentication, which they
So if
kind of already had. When you think about
Yeah,
it.
really what
They're
they're doing, instead of having the two-factor authentication go through your email, is they're allowing you to put your two-factor authentication through the app.
Yes. If
There
you
you
have
go.
the Steam app on your phone, you can now use that to log into your Steam.
Nice.
And in relation, because Steam is trying to prevent a lot of like hacking and scams and stuff like that, they have done a new. They put some new guidelines in place for new accounts to stop spam and scams.
Yep.
So the thing they've done is you now have to have spent at least $5 on your Steam account to get
Right.
access to stuff like sending friend invites, opening group chats,
Interesting.
voting on greenlight Steam reviews and workshop items, participating in the
Alright.
Steam market, posting on the forums, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess that gets around bots that just sign up, like just have an account with nothing on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
if you use Steam, you should probably be very familiar with the whole like getting a million bot accounts adding you every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
That was never a thing that I ran into, actually.
I've run into it a couple
Really?
of times.
I've
but,
gotten
yeah.
a lot of those because I play Dota.
Yeah,
and
I guess.
I my inventory was public for a while.
Yeah, I guess it does depend on what sort of games you play.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
they've this is the solution they put in place, and I think it's a great solution.
Yeah.
It might be a problem for like little Timmy who's 12 years old and can't buy games, but
Well, then why does little Timmy have a Steam account?
Yeah.
yeah.
Little Timmy should not be having a Steam account. In
So,
that
I'm sorry,
like,
case.
Timmy, but that's how it is.
I honestly think that most people that legitimately use Steam will have spent $5 at some point.
Yeah, you buy just I don't know, any sort of game for that.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
It just has
Okay.
to be $5.
That's
Yeah.
nothing. All right, so then what else? What other video game news?
2K Australia has been shut down. The developers of the very newly released Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Oh wow! Oh right.
I believe they are. I believe the
Interesting.
studio consisted of the old LA Noir devs.
Right.
I believe they're the same. They were the same people.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I feel really bad for us for video game, just the video game industry in Australia in general.
Yeah.
Because they get completely screwed over on prices, and some things just don't even get released over there. And
I
now-
mean, they did finally get an adults-only equivalent rating. But
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that was
and-
very recent.
And
And-
just their
Uh,
they just got
Yeah.
like all of their game developers are also
yeah, and 2K, yeah, 2K Canberra was the last major AAA studio in Australia, and now it's gone.
like that.
If
It's
any of our
really
listeners... Oh, go ahead, yeah. Sorry, I was going to roll on to the next thing.
No, yeah, it's pretty sad. At least Australia has a very thriving indie scene, which is understandable because there's not a AAA scene.
Yeah,
Yep. That's basically the only scene they have.
basically.
An indie scene.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's we
We bid you
reach out
a fond farewell
We,
to
Yes.
Australia.
we wish you the best.
we wish you all the best and hope you can get a new studio that this time won't get shut down.
Yeah, there's all... I mean, maybe not in Australia, but those devs have a very good chance of getting snapped up by either one of the indie studios or a AAA studio that they would have to relocate for.
I would imagine because they would have to relocate, they would probably just become indie developers in Australia.
If any of our listeners are Tumblr goers, speaking of indie devs,
Oh yeah, this was fun.
there was a thing that started out originally as just a, like, imagine if there was a zombie survival game set in the 50s. Oh, by the way, the zombies virus only affects men, and you play the game as 50s housewives. That idea blew up
Okay.
and has actually been started to be really developed by Sketchy Panda Games,
Right.
and we'll be launching a Kickstarter sometime this year.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I mean-
it's enough of a new spin.
Yeah, because I was going to say zombie games are done to death. Ha ha ha! Original joke. But there's a zombie mod for basically every first-person shooter ever made now, and there are loads of zombie games. So
Yeah.
There are
Hopefully-
two things that really make me excited about this. Stubbs the Zombie, which was an original Xbox
yes.
game,
Stop the
Which had a
Zombie
very
was
50s feel.
amazing.
and ran on the Halo engine,
Yeah.
of all things.
yeah.
And the movie Fido.
Okay.
Which was
I
also-
haven't seen that movie.
That I haven't
But-
seen.
If you haven't seen Fido, check it out. It's very good.
Okay. Yeah, I hopefully that spin is going to be enough to set it apart and make it actually fun to play, and because
I think so.
yeah, sounds neat. We'll see if it gets. Well, I hope it does get kickstarted
Yeah.
to get something exciting, different in there.
I'm excited to see what happens with that. It's fun to see one of those, because so many of those projects where would it be amazing if this game existed. A lot of those never happen, but it's nice
Yeah,
to see
it's
something
just-
actually happening.
Yeah.
And in
Yep.
in sadder news, Activision just couldn't let us be happy. We got an announcement for Rock Band 4. Everyone was glad. And then Activision says, we're making a new Guitar Hero.
Okay.
That means $300 new worth of peripherals, guys.
That means new controllers we can beat Dark Souls with.
Yes.
That's all I care
So,
about.
yeah,
LambMower can get a new mic, guys.
Yeah, that's it. It's perfect.
No, I believe the new Guitar Hero is focusing only on guitars again.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
And the
Back
new
to the
and the new
Hero
Rock
tool.
Band, Harmonix is
Focusing on
working
rocks.
heavily on having cross compatibility for all the instruments, even on the next gen consoles.
I see. Okay, that's good.
Yes, please.
That's
Yes.
interesting. Sure.
So yeah, Activision announced Guitar Hero Live, which is gonna be a first-person experience. They use
Ahem?
FMV video to simulate you being in a band, and you stand on stage.
FMV video is back, man.
Yes, FMV is back. It'll work this time, I promise.
Oh god.
Can we get Tim Curry?
No, we
You
can't
have
get
to-
Tim McCurry.
Oh.
So you'll be standing on stage, and it'll be full FMV video of you playing to this crowd, and the crowd will be reacting to how good you're playing. If you're playing really well, they'll be like yeah, and lighters and stuff. And then if you suck,
They throw things at you.
Yes.
Like a mini
Yes,
game.
they
Where you
will
have to
actually be.
dodge things.
They will actually be throwing things at you. I believe it says in the report.
Will
work?
it have?
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, is this gonna have Oculus Rift support?
Well,
'Cause
Oculus
it
Rift is
needs
not
to.
actually coming out for the consoles, and this is not
Okay.
coming out on PC. So
Oh, dang
That's
it!
a-
I want FMV
Yeah.
video or FMV Oculus or Vive supported Rock Band. Dang it!
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity, right? That sounds perfect for
exactly.
that sort of thing.
But it's
Have
so
you s-
obvious that they're just announcing this just because it's time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been the moratorium on announcing a new game, a new
Rhythm game.
has
rhythm
passed.
game has passed.
The time has passed.
The time since Activision killed the genre the first time has been long enough.
Yep, they're ready to try and revive a dead genre.
And then kill it again. No.
No, like Harmonix was ready to revive a dead genre. Activision is ready to kill it again.
Fair enough.
Well,
In release or in game announcement news that I'm actually excited about, Broken Age 2 got a release date.
Yes.
Or Broken Age Act 2.
I need to
Okay.
actually play Act 1.
By the way, it's this month.
Yes.
It's in 2 weeks.
Exciting.
Yeah. I
good.
really enjoyed Act 1. It felt like a return to form, I think, for that style of game. But not to the point where, like, an old game like Simon the Sorcerer, which literally has a part where you have to use a watermelon on a sousaphone.
Okay. Okay.
It actually felt really natural, and I enjoyed Act 1 immensely, and I'm looking forward to Act 2.
Cool. I have not played Act 1, but that sounds good.
I would recommend Act 1 to anybody who was thinking of not playing it based on the fact that they split it up after the fact, which I know is a huge reason a lot of people stayed away from Act 1 because they didn't
Yeah.
feel like they were getting a whole game. It felt like a game. I got hours of experience out of it. I felt like I got my money's worth, and it was really good. And I'm really looking forward to Act 2.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good. Okay. And some more video game news of a title that is very, very dear to my heart, that I like a lot. Shovel Knight. This news has been out for a little while, but I wanted to talk about it because it is coming to PS4, Vita, and PS3 on April 21st. So at time of recording, that is only 3 days away. So next Tuesday, Shovel Knight will be available for PS4, PS3, and Vita. And if you haven't played it, and you own those systems, I would recommend you do. And there will be a special mini boss. The Sony version includes a mini boss version of Kratos
Yes.
from God of War.
Yes.
You get to fight him as Shovel Knight. Oh, I'm excited.
Okay.
Sure. Shovel Knight is
I'm-
great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And also, they're coming soon. This was announced a while ago and has showcased at PAX, but there's going to be an expansion for Shovel Knight called Plague of Shadows, where you play as the Plague Knight, who is one of the bosses from the game. And yeah, it says on the blurb that he's seeking to concoct Serum Serpenus, the ultimate potion. So he's extracting from his former allies the Order of No Quarter. So you're going through the game as Plague Knight, fighting the other bosses, and with some new music and new things and new bits of everything. And yeah, more Shovel Knight is what I'm excited
Alright.
for,
Yeah.
because I love that game, and I'm waiting. I really hope they do a sequel, like a Super Shovel Knight or something. But yeah, putting it on more platforms is an awesome thing, because it's currently available for PC on Steam. Or it's on. I don't know if it's on Mac or not, but it's on Steam and it's on the Wii U, and I can't remember if it's on Xbox One. It might be. I think it is.
Snow Shovel Knight. Winter is coming.
But yeah, there you go. That's what I wanted to just mention, that because yeah, more platforms, and if you buy it on a Sony platform, you get to fight Kratos.
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Sweet.
Hey, there we go.
So let's cover the science.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
science.
And
Just a few pieces
then
of
we're gonna-
science news this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a bit science. Then we're gonna start wrapping up for
Mm.
today.
I think the big science news this week was SpaceX.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. They did.
They
Yeah. Did the
go
thing.
ahead, Hats.
Well, I mean, they did what they've been doing. I mean, they had another successful launch of the Dragon capsule, which headed up to the ISS. Went up, coming down, not so straightforward, but they're getting better.
As Elon Musk says, look, guys, it's really hard to land a rocket on a boat. Okay.
Yeah. And
Um,
there was something really funny that happened with that. So I found this just from looking around, and there was a CBC. So if you don't know, CBC is the Canadian, I think it's Canadian Broadcasting Company, so it's Canadian news. Had a piece about SpaceX, and in what they called footage of a simulation was just footage from Kerbal Space Program.
presented 100% seriously.
Yeah, totally seriously, like not like no joke, just like here is a simulation, and it was someone using MechJeb and landing, like doing like a SpaceX landing.
Yeah,
But it-
of the Falcon 9 Stage 1 or a
Yeah.
recreation of it.
Yeah, and it had the unregistered Bandcamp stamp on top of the video on the news broadcast.
Oh,
Oh, it's like, come
Yeah.
on, you guys. Oh, the funny thing is, I tweeted that, and somebody replied Scott Manley in response to that, who makes a load of KSP tutorial videos, and he
they didn't
responded.
even use his footage.
No, he responded saying, "It's like, nope, that's not one of mine. I don't use MechJam or whatever."
Yeah.
But oh god,
Um,
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That being said, this attempt did go better.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't crash into the barge. It actually, the speed was right. It landed with the right speed for a successful
Vertically,
recovery,
yeah.
but it was moving laterally, and so once it landed, it tipped.
Yeah, having
So
played,
clearly, they just needed more reaction to this.
yeah, I've done that. Having played Kerbal Space Program, that's
So easy to do.
It's like, okay, I've got my vertical velocities sorted out, and then as you come down to the planet, you realize that you're just so.
Also, honorable mention: the barge, actually named after a ship from the Culture series.
Oh yeah, which one was it named after? I forget.
Just read the instructions.
I love it. Awesome.
Which,
Great.
like, yes, thank
Great.
you, SpaceX.
Also in space news,
It-
yeah.
If you were if you
Oh,
were
sorry.
worried that SpaceX wasn't run by a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, I that was a big concern for me. Yeah, but yeah, in other space news, the New Horizons probe, which is heading towards Pluto, is now basically only a few months away. It's supposed to be nearing Pluto in about in July, and this is going to be the first time we've ever seen Pluto up close. All we have is like blurry images and no real detail of the surface. And it's going to be cool because this is the only one, like, it was a planet for a long time. Now it's a dwarf
Yeah.
planet, but it's the only one of the inner solar system that we don't have good pictures of.
As we talked about last week, because it's too close. Hubble can't focus on it.
It's too close for Hubble, and the probes that we have sent out, like Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, didn't get close enough didn't get a good look at it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, this is going to be a flyby, so it won't be orbiting Pluto. It'll just go right past it, but while it does, it will have its cameras pointed at it and take as many photos and transmit them back.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited because when was this launched? It was launched years ago, because that's how long this takes.
Well, yeah, I mean, sublight speeds. It was launched.
I'm trying to. I think
Oh.
it was like 2007 or something like that. But yeah, it takes a long time to just get out there, which gives you an idea of how far away it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Horizons was launched 2006. Yeah, I think it was 2006.
9 years ago.
Yep. And it's
Well,
it's only just getting there now, and yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of it because we get to see Pluto for the first time. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
And then just to close out science news, the story we mentioned at the top of the podcast, Boeing this past week filed an official patent for a force field.
And this is Star Wars related.
Yes.
Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because it's a force field.
I mean,
'Cause-
Star Wars,
It's Star
Star
Wars
Wars
related.
also has force fields.
No, it's
Yes, it
Star
does.
Wars related because the explanation they put out is they explain it as the Gungan force fields from Episode 1.
Well, that's
Yes,
oh right, yeah.
but not quite.
Well, yeah, they're not carried on the back of a giant lizard as well.
They're not quite
for
carrying on the
one
back
thing.
of a giant lizard.
That disappoints me greatly.
Additionally, while they are calling it, the community is calling it a force field. It's actually not what we traditionally would think of as one from sci-fi because it's not meant to stop physical objects like debris.
Yeah, and realistically, that's really the only one we can hope for is to stop explosions and electromagnetic stuff, and not like
Yeah, what it's
Things.
currently designed to do is to be outfitted on an armored vehicle like a Humvee. And what it does is it negates the shock wave from an explosion. And so they're trusting the armor of the vehicle to keep the people inside safe from the debris. And this field is designed to keep them from getting their insides liquefied.
yeah, that's good. That's always a good thing.
So hopefully this will be developed soon and we'll get to see it save some lives is
Yeah.
what I'm looking for.
It's a very
Yeah, it's a
interesting
very-
technology.
Yeah, and I think, and they're right. They haven't just applied for the patent; they've actually got it. Like it's
Yeah, it is officially patented.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how does it work then?
It uses an electromagnetic arc
Mm-hmm.
to sort of counteract the shockwave. Uses a sensor to tell when an explosion has happened, like an IED on the side of the road. And then lasers are involved somehow. I read this article yesterday, and some of it was escaped me and was beyond
Actually, I can open up the article.
beyond my understanding.
Yeah.
But
So-
essentially, triggers
Yeah.
a laser or blast of electricity or microwave energy that heats the air to sort of bounce the shockwave back.
Yeah, because it heats up the air, creating a sort of heated plasma shield, basically, which absorbs the shockwave and deflects the shockwave, so it doesn't hit the thing it's mounted on. So that's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah, and technically, I suppose a superheated plasma field could also be a deterrent for people.
Yeah, the way that it seems to work is as like a reactive thing. So
Yeah.
it's not like a constant shield. It's when something happens, it reacts and blasts it away.
I imagine having it as a constant thing would require a lot of energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same reason we don't have powered armor in the field. It's because we have the technology to build powered armor. We don't have the technology to power it remotely.
I mean, exoskeletons are kind of getting there.
Yeah, the problem is they all have to be hooked up to cabling, or their
Yeah.
batteries only last 20 minutes.
But then
Isn't
that's
Lockheed Martin producing a set of civilian
think so.
exoskeletons?
Yeah,
I believe that was like last month. They showed off like exoskeletons aimed at like construction workers.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So they just need to get smaller, better battery packs to put on them,
Yeah, and
which is an engineering problem rather than a
comes
physics
back around to SpaceX and Elon Musk
Yes.
because they're always working on getting those technologies up, and also the Tesla is all about battery technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well.
The Tesla has
Exactly.
some involved battery technology.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
It's very
So I
interesting.
think There are a couple of other things we didn't talk about in regards to comic book stuff.
Yeah,
just
just some
completely skipped over
quick
comic
outros.
books.
I can just quickly run through that because there's an article on Polygon that I think HP will be posting in the chat if you're watching live. But basically, there's some statistics suggesting that digital comic sales, like female characters, are dominating digital comic sales. Like people are reading Miss Marvel,
Yes.
and there's a new what's it called? Silk, who is a Spider-Man related character, and Miss Marvel, Thor. New Thor is a woman, and Princess Leia features in like the Star Wars comics, and they're all like the top. They're in the top 10 comics on Comixology, which is awesome. Yeah.
So this is both awesome and potentially less awesome because it raises an interesting question. Are they only dominating the digital space because women don't feel comfortable buying physical comics?
That's part of it. That's the thing. Is like, it actually does dispel the myth that women and girls don't like comic books, because what seems to be more the issue is that the environment and the culture around them is a bigger problem, and that the things that are being created now are actually targeted towards them. So they haven't been made welcome, basically, until recently. And now that they are being made welcome and being given avenues in which to buy things without having to worry about that, that it's taking off and they're just that it's really popular and successful, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I am surprised, I'm not surprised that so many got mad over the whole Thor thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Thor is a boring superhero. He does
just
not.
regular Thor.
He is. He has very boring comics. The new Thor run is actually very entertaining. It's a very entertaining read.
Yeah.
Yep, and I mean, the big argument was, you can't change him, he's a classic character. They've replaced Captain America before, they've replaced Spider-Man before. They replace everybody.
Captain America is even, he's Sam Wilson in the comics now.
Yeah, he's the guy who was Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite stupid counter argument to my favorite stupid argument against the new female Thor is that it's not in line with Norse mythology. Because everything else that Marvel does is totally in line with Norse and not at all completely different.
Yeah,
you mean like when Loki turned into a horse
and gave birth to
Sleipnir,
who has 8 legs and is Odin? Yeah, exactly.
Sir, it's pronounced Sleipnir.
Yeah,
Sleipnir.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a really stupid argument against it. It's like, no, everything is different in the comics. Really, it bears a very small relation to what the actual myth is.
It's just
so.
I'm happy we're finally getting really good comics with female-dominated characters that aren't putting them in skimpy clothing or shit like that. They're actually making comics.
They're making just good comics for women.
Yes, and they're not only good comics for women; they're good comics for everybody.
Well, that's the thing is that's how you do that. Is you don't just
you don't focus down one group.
Yeah, it also seems to come from a place of people who actually know what they're talking about and they know what women want to see, because there are a lot more female creators now who are getting involved with comics, rather than men who are trying to figure out what women want. Which, to be fair, some are better at it than others, but ultimately we're not the people who should be doing that.
No, we had the stupid Cartoon Network with Young Justice that happened.
Yeah. Oh God, I hate it. There was an interview with Kevin Smith, podcast with Kevin Smith and Paul Dini, who's involved in Batman animated series and Justice League and all of that stuff, who was also working on Young Justice. And they basically said that the reason Young Justice was cancelled was partly to do with the fact that they were attracting more girls than boys.
Yes.
And that the girls didn't buy enough toys, because the toys were not marketed to girls. They wanted an audience of small, like the executives wanted an audience of young boys to buy their toys, and they came in and made a great show that was targeted to everybody, and lots of girls were watching it as well, and they basically said, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
No.
Which is just horrible. It's
They cancelled the show because it was popular with the wrong demographic.
who weren't buying the toys because the toys weren't marketed to them, and they wouldn't accept that if you did market the toys to them and make stuff that they wanted, not just like stereotypically girly things, but if you made them feel like they were actually part of a demographic that you wanted, then they would be into it and they would buy the toys, and you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It's
so-
amazingly stupid.
Yeah.
That's a commentary on the things DC Animated does wrong. I think our last piece of news is more related to the thing DC Animated does right,
Yeah, because
which is movies.
Well, actually, in this case, it was Cartoon Network and not DC.
yeah, exactly. Cartoon Network made that decision about to cancel Young Justice.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So DC Animation has been great for a long time. Like some of their more recent stuff hasn't been that good. It's like Son of Batman wasn't very good. I've not been a fan of the New 52 in general. So like Justice League War was all right. Basically, Bruce Timm is a guy who's behind Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, Batman Beyond. Those
The old contiguous DCA.
yeah, exactly. That was all linked together and all great. And then he basically stopped doing things after a while, and they have made a series of standalone movies, which he's been like involved in a sort of background level, but it's kind of been all right. Under the Red Hood was a good one of those. I did like that one. That was good. But there's a new one coming out that is by Bruce Timm, and he's heavily involved. It's his old style of animation as well, which I'm a big fan of.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's called Justice League Gods and Monsters. There's a trailer for it. You can just Google it. You will find the most recent trailer. And it's basically an Elseworlds story where they take the characters of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman and reimagine them in a completely different scenario. So in this one, Superman isn't Kal-El. He's, I can't remember his name, but he's the son of Zod, sent to Earth. And he is raised by immigrant, I think Mexican immigrants in America, rather than the Kents.
Right.
Batman is not Bruce Wayne. He's Kirk Langstrom, who was in original comics. He is Man-Bat, and he has cancer and develops a serum to cure his cancer, which turns him into a vampire, sort of thing. And
Yep.
Wonder Woman is actually from the New Gods, who are like Darkseid and all those people. She's one of a character who's related to them. So it's taking all the DC stuff and turning it on its head and doing something really fun with it and different with it, without trying to make it fit in with everything else and be like, no, this is completely separate and different. And it's by Bruce Timm, so I don't care what it is. It's gonna. I'm excited.
I am
I'm also
absolutely
excited.
looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
So
I've
yeah.
always loved the Elseworld stuff. Red Sun is probably my favorite Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't like Superman, but Red Sun is... that one I really liked.
And Gotham by Gaslight I really liked, which was basically Batman as a sort of late 19th century guy, kind of like Sherlock Holmes era stuff.
More
With
noir.
noir, with Mike Mignola doing the art and story.
Sweet.
So he's the guy who made Hellboy.
Yeah.
And DC's Elseworld stuff has some very good things in it, and I'm excited for more.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so am I. So...
I think that's it.
I think that's
I
all.
think we're done.
I think that's all for the show tonight.
Holy shit,
Covered everything.
Was that almost exactly 90 minutes, or maybe a bit more?
Very close to 2 hours, I think.
Okay, that's better.
Actually, one final thing relating to Tron again.
Ooh.
We don't have a source on this because I forgot to get one. But from Mark Zuckerberg did an AMA on Facebook.
Okay.
Where he talked about what he wants to do with the Oculus Rift.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, right. I remember this, yeah.
yeah,
Go on.
he said that his vision for the Oculus Rift is to make basically Facebook 2.0.
Literally,
So-
literally
Ah.
Facebook.
So
we're all buying the
his
vibe
idea
then.
his idea is currently on Facebook you can upload video and pictures
Hmm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In his vision of what the Oculus Rift implementation is going to be, is you're going to be able to upload like virtual 3D worlds.
Environments.
Yes,
Sure.
they're
Okay.
This is relating to Tron because he wants to digitize the world.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fantastic.
that-
Sorry, one thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about Tron earlier is there is a rumored title, by the way.
Oh, what is it?
Tron Ascension.
Okay. Sure.
And people's take on that is that it may have to do with more people or more digital constructs getting into the real world,
Right.
like Olivia Wilde's character.
Does it actually mean that they're implementing Facebook into Tron 3?
Tron
Maybe.
Face Ascension.
Exactly. Yeah. I just imagining them in the Tron grid getting chased down by like a bunch of thumbs up, just smashing on top of them.
Oh,
There's just someone sitting back, it's like, I like this post.
So, let's see if I can find AMA so we at least have one source on it.
Yeah.
yeah. We'll throw the link up.
We'll throw that
Yeah.
in there. But yeah, I think that's everything then. We covered it all.
We covered all of it.
We did.
Indeed.
We talked about Star Wars. We didn't talk about Star Citizen for the whole podcast.
No, we did.
managed
We
to do that.
mentioned Star Citizen.
No, I said we didn't talk about it for the whole podcast, just part
Okay.
of it.
Uh,
Just
Sure.
a bit.
I believe that will do it
Yeah.
as well.
So
Yes.
yeah, there we go. Thank you to everyone for tuning in.
Yes,
Indeed.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Culture Class podcast for this week. And yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for joining
Yeah.
us. Joining me this week was CantWearHats
May the force be with you.
and
you
HPBraincase.
I am the droid you're looking for.
And their source for where you can find them will be under the video
down
down below.
Down there.
Yes, absolutely.
So see you guys next time on the Culture Clash.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.